Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. In this episode, we're gonna continue with the previous live noding where I was doing this spider creation. Um, in this one, we're gonna learn how to more properly kind of solidify the spider leg. So instead of making the spider leg just kind of like that kind of looking, we wanna to make it a little bit more proper. So each segment should have some kind of like a proper thickness. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of setup. So let's just get started. File save as spreadshot sampling leg segment actually. Okay. We're gonna simplify this. We don't need like too many. We can start with a curve or make our own line. Actually, I will start with a line. I'm not gonna use grease pencil yet, but we can use grease pencil and sample it. I'm gonna start with just line. Imagine if it's just this is like a spider leg, and it's kind of just being extended that way. So it's a 1, 2, 3 with 4 points. We can extend it or reduce it. And the idea here is to kind of separate each and every segment, and then we're gonna do the sampling for each segment. And for each segment, we can then have the way to control the solidify each part. Hard to explain, but I'll show it. I'll show it to you real quick. So line and multiple edges, we can polygon boom. We can use polygon boom node, and this guy will separate each and every edges. Okay, it looks very similar, but if I bake it, this guy is actually made of multiple segment now. 1, 2, 3, 3 parts. And because we have them separated here, 3, we can actually use vector interpolation like so. And here we can have a range float from 0 to 1. This way we can really control how many points we want per segment. If you want to see the original, you can do that. I'll give it a different color for the original point. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 points, and then each edge segment is resampled. Now that we have this, we can actually just use a UV connection. And connect them all again. We not sure we need slice or not, but just maybe leave it like without slice. If I bake it, now we're gonna have separate segment, but each segment is actually made of multiple points. Okay, so that's the main idea here. And if you imagine this guy's like spider leg, we can now basically use skin measure, and with the skin measure here we can control the radius. I'll show you real quick. Radius using maybe range float, count, start from 1, stop at 0.1, count dependent on how many counts we have here. So integer let's make it 12. Plug this guy into the radius. Now what we have is something that's looking like a cone. That's because of this guy. Okay, so you get the idea. So each segment is now becoming like a kind of cone. It's more kind of better looking than just as if you draw spider leg that's looking like this. Now instead you have kind of more solid looking spider leg, if you want, kind of like an insect's leg. Although it's still pretty basic, but it's getting somewhere. And then with this setup, this is super basics, but we can play around with this. Actually, currently I'm extending, and it seems to repeat itself. Kind of cleverly, it repeats itself. Didn't expect that, but let's say if we kind of randomize the input vertices here, see you get that kind of arrangement. Let's see what else we can do with this. They are actually, if I turn it back to 4 points, now we have 3 segments. These guys are separate. Maybe that's what you want, but it really depends. Maybe you want them as a single kind of object. That's kind of something that I'm still thinking how to do it. Would be nice if they're just like a single segment for the leg. For that, maybe you can use this double distance option and just merge it together. No, it doesn't work. It's not gonna work unless you probably need to mesh join this. So mesh join this guy and it become a single kind of continuous edge. But of course it's not totally true because they are still kind of separate. They are joined into a single object, but they are actually haven't been merged. So we can use this double distance. So you can see before, after. You see it's kind of merged into one another. Maybe that's what you want, or you can also kind of do it manually using remove double here. Remove double can be a little bit slow, but maybe cleaner in this case. Just now Blender seems to crash. I'll quickly restart. Okay, now we're back and let's try again. Remove doubles here, connecting this guy and that guy, and then the edges. Apparently that's not actually a good idea. It seems to be keep on crashing. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's got surprised with that connection. I'll open my file. This I think sausage legs I call it. So in my setup I kind of did it. Mesh join and then remove doubles, and this guy have a 0 double distance merging. So I get something like this. The only difference from the one that just crashing is here I have this modulo. Modulo is kind of, so it's basically what it's doing is kind of a value that goes like that from this value, start, stop, and then it's kind of go back, and then it's kind of doing this. So in the end, you kind of have like a cone, kind of like repeating Christmas tree or something. Here, this part, this is like a single skin modifier, and then they are kind of connected to each other. Ideally, this should kind of wrap around a little bit to the previous, but this is kind of the idea. So I have control over the thickness somehow. For the spider leg, maybe we only need like 3 segments. Yeah, currently it's a little bit funny, but it's kind of working almost like the way I want it. Although it's, you know, it's too much like cone, and I make it so that's kind of using this noise, so it's kind of moving in a weird way. It's also a little bit more like very simplistic tentacle. Although, yeah, if you want like a more proper spider legs, let's see if we draw it. I think I should look at the real spider, but basically the bottom part is kind of sagging like this because of the gravity. Although it's more like kind of like a grasshopper kind of insect. I don't know, maybe the legs it's looking something like this. This one's kind of overlapping the next one, but it's pretty close. So it's definitely something that we can improve. For now, yeah, it's looking funny like this. I don't know if we can use other function instead of modulo. We can probably use easing. Yeah, this guy maybe linear interpolation. Maybe sine is in and is out. I don't know. It's have to play around with this. So we have like something like more or less like a insect. This guy looks like broken, but it's not really. I think it's kind of correct. Yeah, even this actually not too bad. Although it's not doing the segmented thing. Need to play with the number as well. This is just for the noise, Berlin and then whatnot. I don't actually need to do this. It's just like a simple leg. So maybe I should simplify this setup. We don't need all the noise. This is for that. Can be like super tiny, and then we have these kind of, that looks like a multiplier. We have the modulo and then sine. Sine is in, is out. Maybe bounce can be better. Bounce is in and is out. Kind of alright. Is in, is out. Maybe just back is in, is out. It's kind of alright, not entirely great looking, but I think if we just if we draw one spider leg, something like that, I'm hoping it's gonna just convert Grease pencil to Bezier. Now we have a curve, and supposedly if I just objects in, we don't need all this noise stuff. This is just for me playing around. Delete, go back with a line, select our curve and resample. Range integer, actually range float here, count maybe 4. I'll show you what it's actually doing. It's doing a resample, you see, 1 2 3 4 points, and you can just connect it. So line goes into that, guys. This we don't need this. Polygon boom, yes, we do need the polygon boom, so we need that, and then plug this guy in, and that one is also, and then we don't want that polygon, we want a edge, just edge. So we have this, don't need slice. Here we separate it. So now we have our kind of spider leg here. You see how it's being, the segment being resampled, and this one control the number of segment and so on. We don't need this, actually we need that just for preview, and we have that. Okay, this number is definitely very sensitive. If you have like the number that's not matching, it won't do it. So we need the right number for the skin modifier, otherwise it might even crash. Maybe don't worry about that for now. Just the modulo, and we should have the like a multiple cone thingy. So 0.002. Slides on, off. Maybe I'm forgetting something here. So that's the curve, the secret pencil, and then we have all this. Somewhat we are not getting the cone shape. Okay. Maybe I need to make this a bit bigger. Okay, yes. Yeah, there you go. You see, just now it's just kind of doing it. It's very weird. Here, maybe the modulo need to be controlled. It's not like that exactly. It's kind of going small and then big again. Maybe, just maybe, I think we need some just math here. And use like a float. This way we can control like the minimum value radius for this segment. Just slightly better here. As it looks very kind of cartoony, spider-like, but maybe getting somewhere. File, save this. It's actually quite high resolution. You can use displace modifier and then apply like a cloud texture. Noise cloud. Okay. See, that's not bad looking. Although there's one thing with spray chalk. This is the skin modifier, right? Skin measure inside spray chalk. This guy generate skin modifier here, and then the subsurface subdivision here, and we added the displacement over here. But if I scrub, the displacement is kind of going up. This is the behavior that I don't quite like. I just kind of wish this displacement can just stay down there. So it's kind of switch and going up. Although that's kind of giving this a little bit more personality. You see, the legs, spider legs, kind of, instead of all straight like that, it's kind of doing this kind of wiggling a little bit. It's all add to this procedural spider leg. So yeah, this is pretty much it. So just grease pencil being resampled, and then after that it's being broken down into separate parts, and then separate parts being resampled once again, connect them all together, mesh join with remove doubles, and then put into skin measure, and then we control the radius of each leg segment using this number. Maybe we have some kind of setup here that's kind of give a better looking leg. Currently it's looking like this. Not very pretty. Spider leg, I think we need to look at a proper reference. Okay, spider leg segment. There are hundreds or thousands variation of spider. I definitely need to look at some proper reference for the spider. But let's look at some of this diagram, spider leg segment. So yeah, apparently it has this something that's looking like a knee, and then kind of going smaller, and then get bigger again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually made up of 7 segments, and each one with different ratio. If I were to design this in spray chalk once again, maybe I'm gonna use reference next time. Maybe when drawing the spider, so we know that we have the body, and then the legs. For the legs part, we kind of gonna connect the legs this way, kind of making the ratio like this, like the one I have explained earlier in the previous live noding. That's gonna be for the leg. This is a super simplified spider, of course. This one looks so thick. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. This one looks so weird. Oh, actually, this is a plastic. This one with a super long leg. That's kind of cool, like skeleton-like. Skeleton is actually nice. This is if you watch a movie like Ghost in the Shell, the character, the way the character is being modeled, it's looking something like this. So this is kind of design that I want for the spider leg segment. This is a very typical manga style, making a leg. I'll show you what I mean. Ghost in the Shell toy. internet being very slow, but this is actually really nice. Here, because the Japanese toy figurine like this often have like a multiple segment for you to pose it. Each character tends to have this kind of design. You see the leg here? That's kind of something that I want to create for the spider, even though it's much more simplistic. Yeah, it's pretty much like this. So if you have this knee part, and then this part, and this part, another part, and then finally, you know, just something nasty like that. Currently, it's still basically like that, but we will try. I guess I'll leave it here for now, and I'm gonna continue on the next one, and I'll give you the gist as well for this one. And yeah, if you have any question, feedback, suggestion, just let me know down below, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks again for tuning in.